Jonathan here. Welcome to another weekly permanent weight loss coaching team call. I'm doing a video this week, posting it on YouTube as a private link, and then providing that to the whole team, making sure that those of you that are not on Facebook see this video. I'm really excited about this week's update / team call. It's kind of hard calling it a team call when I'm doing a video for you, but most importantly, I'm really excited about these three topics. I believe they will be life-altering, so I'm going to set that intention now. What I would invite you to do is go all in on listening and watching this video. Don't let the outside world distract you. I know there's a lot of things pulling at your attention. Please spend this time with me. I'm not sure how long we'll be together, but I'm excited to be with you right now. Today we're covering three key topics. The first topic is me sharing some information from this book I'm reading right now about personal excellence. The book is called Iron War. I've been mentioning it in some of my workout videos. I'm going to share some parts of that, and really what I'm trying to communicate is that even world-class elite athletes have a negative voice. One of the things our negative voice has done to each of us is try to fool us into thinking we're alone. Everyone who's breathing has a negative voice, so we're going to talk about that. The second thing we're going to talk about is what I call your exercise intensity score. How hard are you working during your workouts and cranking that up? And I'm going to share what I've been doing personally and then how that relates to you, so that you can make sure that every workout is maximized. Not crossing the line where you're unsafe, but maximized, cranked up, pushed, energized, positive, calorie burning, etc. All right? And then the third thing we're gonna cover today is another new tool. So the exercise intensity score is a new tool, as is the nutrition lock-in score. And I'm going to explain what that is so that you can have a very systematized and clean way to make sure you're staying on top of using nutrition to fuel your excellence, not steal from your excellence. So let's circle back to the first topic, which is even world-class athletes have a negative voice. So I'm going to grab this book I've been reading. Again, the book's called Iron War. Subtitle is Dave Scott, Mark Allen, in The Greatest Race Ever Run. I am not through with the book. I have about 60 pages left. I've gotten to the point, the end of what they're talking about, the greatest race ever run, which was the 1989 Ironman triathlon in Hawaii, the World Championships. Now, Dave Scott was the 6-time winner, and Mark Allen was the younger guy trying to take on Dave Scott in this epic showdown. And so there's a couple key parts in this book. I shared one of them probably 2 weeks ago on the private Facebook page, and it really resonated with people, I could see based on the comments. So I'm going to share this with you. Now this is quoting Mark Allen. So again, world-class triathlete who eventually won 6 Ironman, but at this point he hasn't won any yet. Mark heard a voice in his head at the most critical moments of the race. The same confidence-crushing script played over and over. I can't do it. This guy's too strong. I'm going to lose again. Despite his talent, his love of swimming, his willingness to work hard, and a burning desire to win, Mark carried a deep sense of self-doubt into his racing that made him weak in the moments when he most needed to be strong. Any endurance athlete can fall prey to a voice of negativity and self-pity in crisis moments, but in Mark, that mutinous inner voice had a special personal significance. It hated him. Brutal. Right? So here is this world-class athlete dealing with the same issues that all of us have dealt with and continue to deal with, which is that inner voice trying to talk us down, hold us back, and rob us of our personal excellence. So I mentioned before, I'm about 60 pages out from finishing the book, and I've gotten through the point where he has weathered the storm of that voice. They don't take a deep dive on exactly how he does it, but there's this flow within the book that he's taking it on. So I'm going to read a couple more points. So that was on page 37. Again, the book's called Iron War. It gets pretty heavy from an exercise physiology standpoint. I'm Nerd Boy, so of course I love that. I am a huge fan of this book. I think there's a couple gems in here, including the one I'm sharing, but also this book was the catalyst for our new exercise intensity score, which I'll share how that came about as we go through part 2 of our discussion today. So I'm going to push forward to page 159. So at this point, this is right before the big Ironman showdown. And again, this is Mark Allen dealing with his negative voice. Now, Dave Scott, again, 6-time winner, is who he's about to take on in this race. So this is like the day before the race. And his negative voice, shocker, is still there. So meanwhile, Mark sits on a small bleacher positioned at the very end of the pier, alone, head down. Inside him, a quiet battle is taking place between his fears and his chosen self. He's just seen Dave Scott the day before the race. Dave Scott walks away. Mark Allen's sitting here. Powerful language. I'll say that part again. Inside him, a quiet battle is taking place between his fears and his chosen self. Dave looks fitter than ever. Those veins. Obviously, that's his negative voice. So what? He's no god. Positive voice. It's going to be a hot one. I can tell already. Clearly, that's negative voice. And, question mark, it's always hot. So you can hear Mark Allen is going back and forth, countering the negativity, countering the bully who's trying to take him out before he even starts the race. Hopefully this is resonating with you. It then goes on to explain his mental preparation, and then at this point, they're on the bike midway through the Ironman in the middle of this heat and this crazy epic showdown, and they're going head to head. Mark Allen, Dave Scott. And at this point, Mark is beginning to have problems of his own. Despite the settling of the pace, he is becoming increasingly uncomfortable. And then it goes on about a couple other things. He feels as helpless in the face of its terrible power as a dreamer inside a nightmare. Meaning he's starting to really mentally break down here. The hot black rock floor seems to scoff at Mark's offering. He did this kind of spiritual offering earlier. Suddenly, Mark realizes nothing has changed. He was fooling himself. He has no quarter here. He's doomed. At the same time, Mark feels a new strength emanating from Dave. He can feel his opponent's will, and it feels like a wall. They pass the midpoint of the marathon. Actually, I apologize, they're not on the bike anymore. By the way, they swam 2.4 miles. They biked 112. Now they're running a 26.2 mile marathon. They pass the midpoint of the marathon. To the right loom the reeking garbage piles of the town dump. Bad thoughts enter Mark's mind. The old voice of doubt, the hated tape loop of fear. He's too strong. He'll never crack. 13 miles to go and I'm already dying. It's only going to get worse. I've lost again. He's 0 for 7, by the way. He's tried this 7 times and has yet to win. I've lost again. I don't have what it takes to win this race. I will never win this race. This is at mile 13 in the marathon as he's in the epic battle, the epic showdown of his life. A downward spiral has begun. Mark is abruptly aware that he is boiling inside. Was it this hot a minute ago? His legs have turned to lead. He's lightheaded. It goes through this whole physical, emotional, spiritual breakdown of this happening. The taunting voice in his head stops making sense, then it falls silent. He now lacks the energy to try a single thought. Mark is conscious only of suffering and the desire to suffer no more. He is a zombie, a shackled man in a burning prison. Unbelievable. Then this section, and I'm not going to go into it for time's sake, but then it goes into, he's starting to resurrect some of his work he's done, the tools and strategies he's built. I'm not going to get into them. If you invest in the book, it's like $14 on Amazon. It's worth it, from my view. Then goes into the tools, as I said, he's built before, harnessing those and somehow fighting through this window of darkness. And again, don't let your negative voice write off this part of the weekly call / show here. This is all of us. We've all had those moments where you're in the battle and you're on the ropes and the wheels are coming off. And, how are you going to rally? That is the opportunity. So, despite Mark's incredible suffering and despair, he feels his spirit absorbing the joy and acceptance that emulate from the shaman's countenance. Shaman is someone he had, again, the details are in the book. Let's just say it's kind of a spiritual thing that he has pulled in. Don't worry, I'm not going to go on all day. You know I could, but I'm not going to. At first, Mark merely discerns what the old man is feeling. Then he feels it himself. A sense of peace washes over him. Now displacing his pain, but not displacing his pain, but enabling him to accept it. A new monologue enters his mind. How cool is this? I'm leading Ironman with Dave Scott with 12 miles to go. Win or lose, this is an amazing experience. Anyone else in the race would kill to be where I am now. So what the hell am I complaining about? I apologize for the language. I'm going to enjoy this moment as best I can. Yes, I'm hurting, but Dave is too. I can still win. And if I don't, so be it. There's more to life. Is this like, for me, this just, all right, so no sooner has Mark given up, in a sense, than he begins to feel his energy return, some of it anyway. That verge of fainting feeling dissipates, a bit of strength, perhaps just enough, is restored to his legs. Hope seeps back into his spirit. Wow. Maybe I'm losing my mind and thinking that this is ideally resonating with you guys, but I really hope this is touching you at a deep level. Don't write it off that this is some Ironman guy, blah, blah, blah. We're all in the battle. So accept that even world-class athletes have a negative voice that they battle. The difference between them and you and me and anyone else is tools and strategies. That's what the whole point of the Permanent Weight Loss Coaching Program is about. Tools and strategies. How do we win that battle here so that we can externally win the battle? We can drop the weight, we can get fit, we can get energized and get positive. We can hunt down our best selves and then show up and serve at that level, most importantly to our families, but also coworkers, friends, people at church, nonprofits, whatever you spend your time, whoever you spend your time with, you then get to bring your best self. This is the battleground. I will not go on to share what happens with the rest of the race, but this is a fabulous book. In fact, I ordered it for a couple of my coaching clients and shipped it to them yesterday. So that is the first key topic. I'll be curious after you listen to the whole call / video today, what your feedback is on that section. Now we're going to shift into the second key life-altering topic, which is this idea of coming up with your exercise intensity score. Within this book, I mentioned that there's a pretty deep dive on the exercise physiology front, which I'm a nerd boy, I love this stuff, so I love it. And part of it, it's pretty early in the book, they were trying to talk about how do these two individuals push their body to this level, and then they are speaking with an exercise physiologist or quoting him about all these studies they've done on what causes us to pull back when we're trying to push during a workout or a run or any type of physical exertion. And really what they point to is that it's the brain. And don't misinterpret this part of the weekly call / video that I'm telling you should hammer yourself. That's not what I mean. You should never ever feel lightheaded. You should never feel beat up. You don't want to feel demoralized. But there's a gap between how you're exercising right now. I don't know this, by the way, but I'm guessing. Or I'll just say it to myself. There was a gap between where I was exercising and me really peaking at my full output, my full exercise intensity kind of potential. So what I want you to think about is, have you gotten in this kind of autopilot, which I had done with my running, where you just go out, you get to a certain level of discomfort or a certain level during the Energy Up videos where you're not la-di-da-di and long, but you're not really hammering, like you're sweating, but you're not like bam, right? So the opportunity is, how do you bridge that gap between that, this kind of autopilot, this is what I do, I test myself, I don't really go all in, and then going all in. And again, I'm not talking all in like you're feeling lightheaded or you're gonna pass out. I don't mean crossing the line, I mean going all the way to your potential. So I came up with this idea of an exercise intensity score. And from 0 to 5. 0, you're sitting on the couch, you're watching an Energy Up video, but you're actually not doing it, right? That's 0. 5 is you're dripping in sweat. Spouse comes in, asks you how you doing. It's like 1 or 2 word answers. How you doing? Good. What do you want for dinner? Whatever. It's like 1 or 2 word, answers to anything that someone would speak with you about, because you don't have sentences in you. You're working too hard. Now again, we're not crossing the line. Now 5 is you're going in and optimize all out effort. I don't mean all out, again, lightheaded, pass out, anything like that. That's like a 6. But 0 to 5 is your full potential of how hard you work so that you can maximize your results, your energy, your vibe, your positivity, your calorie burning, your fitness, your health results, all of that. That's why we want to bridge this gap. And so I'll share with you, after I read that section, it was at night when I was reading it, I had a 10-mile run lined up. I'm actually about to go for one once we finish up here today. But I've had 2 since I read that section. And the only difference I made in those 2 runs was deciding that I was going to elevate. I'm going to grab some water real quick. I was going to elevate my exercise intensity score. And here's the interesting thing. I really took an honest look at myself and gave myself my initial starting score. In my starting score from 0 to 5, when it comes to my runs, there's probably like a 2, and that might be generous. It might be a 1.5, might be a 2.5. I'm giving it a 2. But the starting score isn't to be looked at as a problem or, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me or what's wrong with you. That's not it. It's thinking in terms of, okay, if I'm a 2 now, or if you're a 1 or a 3, how do I get to a 4 or a 5? What does that look like? How do I feel? How do I finish my workouts? How do I show up for my family? That's what this is about. So I gave myself a 2. And then I committed, when I went out on my runs, these 2 runs, I'm about to do my 3rd, as I said, I was like, I'm going for a 5. I might not reach a 5 because that's a big gap to fill in 1 or 2 workouts, but I'm gonna go for the 5. So here's what happened. I've done 2 of these long runs. Both of them are my quickest runs in a decade, 10 years. Those 2 runs, nothing had changed. All my other habits, I'm dialing in because I'm getting ready for the Boston Marathon in 20 weeks. But the bottom line is, I had made a shift mentally to go all in, to go to the edge, to push. Now here's the interesting thing. My lungs and heart were ready because of my interval training and Energy Up. So I had that extra capacity. My muscles felt strong. I was slightly sore the next day, but not incredibly sore on either thing. And that was because I took my score. If I was going to rate it, as I said, I was a 2. I probably took it to a 4. I definitely didn't go to a 5, but I went to like a 4 on those 2 runs. So my question to you as your coach is, what is your exercise intensity score? And I'm going to ask you to courageously report that on the private Facebook page, if you're on Facebook. So your reply at the end of watching this, I'd like to have your key takeaways. ideally the conversation about Mark Allen, what were your key takeaways from the 3 topics we cover? And then within that, reporting your exercise intensity score. And then the 3rd topic we're about to start is in regard to nutrition. So hopefully this exercise intensity score is going to help you. I would invite you to take it each week and report that in your weekly email about your results each Monday. And if you're also posting that on the private Facebook page, post that there. Just write exercise intensity score equals. Again, 0 to 5, 0 you're sitting on the couch, 5 you have maximized your exercise intensity. And 6 is you're like passing out and getting sick. So it's not, 5 isn't you've blown a gasket here, 5 is you've completely maximized your output in your workouts. All right, so let's shift to the 3rd topic. The 3rd topic is what I call your nutrition lock-in score. I love the word lock-in. It's a term I use with my peak performance coaching clients who I'm blessed to phone coach each week for 30 minutes. Lock-in, we're trying to lock in their peak performance personally and professionally. Same thing here with the Permanent Weight Loss Coaching Program. We're trying to lock in you hitting a peak performance level personally and professionally, and also as far as your fitness, weight loss, and health. Getting you to your goal weight and staying there, and then feeling on fire and showing up for life and serving others in that way. So I came up with the nutrition lock-in score. Now, a lot of people use exercise as their excuse to eat poorly. We've all heard that saying, it's not mine, which is you can't out-exercise a bad diet. We all know that. You can't do it. Maybe you can if you're like 20 or 25. I'm 47, I'm only 48 in 20 weeks. I cannot do it. So the point is, we want to stop fooling ourselves that we can do that. And the beauty of the nutrition lock-in score is that now you have a tool, a quantitative way to really track, am I nailing my nutrition? Now, your negative voice will cry foul. How come he's not telling us exactly what to eat and what snacks I should have and this and that? We're not going to get into that because everyone is a case study of one. And the reality is, when you start really paying attention to your portions and you look at the quality of the nutrients, you start decreasing your carbs. I'm not talking no carbs because we need carbohydrates for fuel when we're exercising at high intensities. That's a conversation for a different time. So we can't go no carbs. I don't suggest that. But minimizing our carbs, we all take in too much carbs, eating more fruits, eating more vegetables, and then watching our portions. When you do that in alignment with what we're about to discuss as far as how you're looking at your major meals and making sure you're taking in mid-morning and mid-afternoon snacks, combine that with nailing 6 Energy Up workouts per week, it's game over. Especially because within the Energy Up workouts, myself and the other coaches are fueling your mindset on how you win the mental game. And then that, along with nutritional lock-in, along with exercise lock-in, it's game over. That should be exciting for you as we think about finishing these last 4 weeks of 2019 and setting you up to make 2020 one of the best years of your life. All right, so let's talk through the nutrition lock-in score. Now, tell your negative voice to go take a walk or take a hike. This isn't about judgment or shame or guilt. This is about getting some data on, are you really committed to your nutrition? And if you're not, stepping up and committing, fully committing. Okay, so the maximum score is 35. You can watch this multiple times if you want, by the way. So the maximum score is 35. The way we get to 35 is, there's 21 major meals a week, 7 breakfast, 7 lunch, 7 dinner. And so it's a total of 21 meals. Now, if you can say that all 21 of those meals were nutritionally sound and were healthy portions, then you're 21 for 21. That's how it works. And also, there's 14 snacks a week, 7 mid-morning, 7 mid-afternoon. So that is 14 snacks. If you had 14 snacks and they were all healthy in normal portions, right? A snack portion should probably be 100 to 200 calories. Then you got 14. That's how you get to your 35. That it is as simple as that. But here's the thing. If you're having 1 dessert a week, which is what we suggest in Energy Up, that does not impact your score. If you're having anything beyond 1, then you subtract that from your score. For instance, if you're having 4 desserts a week, then you would subtract 3 from your total score, right? We just have the 1 dessert, so that's not counted, but the other 3 are not serving you. By the way, a dessert is anything you know is unhealthy for you. So if you go to Starbucks and you get a mocha, a peppermint mocha, that is the dessert. So we're gonna add up our desserts, we're gonna subtract 1 from that number, and then we're gonna take that number and subtract it from your total score. So say you had a situation where in a week, you let 2 meals get away. You took that second thing of lasagna, or you had 2 pieces of garlic bread with your whatever, and so 2 of the major meals got away. So say instead of 21, you're 19, and then you blew off 2 of your snacks, so you got a 12 instead of a 14. So your score is a 31. But then you had 4 desserts last week, so we're gonna subtract 3, so your score is really a 28. Now, I'm not looking for your negative voice to give inputs. Remember, I'm your coach. A world-class coach tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So this next part's going to be a little bumpy, but stay with me. If your score is less than 30, then you are not committed to your nutrition. Don't kid yourself, you're not committed to your nutrition. Again, tough message, but that's what I believe. If you are committed, your score is between 30 and 33. And if you are fully committed, your score is a 34 or 35. I'm in the Permanent Weight Loss Club. I dropped my 44 pounds 24 years ago. My score is 34 or 35 every week. Why? Because food is fuel. That's how I fuel my workouts. That's how I fuel my positivity. That's how I fuel my optimism. I don't need to get fired up to do a video for you guys. I do the work when no one's looking to feel this energized and positive in any way I get to serve, whether I'm sending a text, an email, whether I am connecting with a peak performance coaching client on a call, whether I'm doing a video with you guys, whether I'm doing a energy up video, and most importantly, how I serve Karen and Adeline and Alexander and Benjamin and my beautiful mother-in-law who lives with us, right? All of that is compliments of using food as rocket fuel. That's why you want your nutrition lock-in score to be 34 or 35. Okay, so we covered 3, what I believe to be life-altering topics. I can see the clock here, we're at about 27 minutes. I'm gonna provide the link in the email to our private Facebook page. If you're not on the Facebook page, that's the decision you made, it's all good. That is not required to use this incredible program, this permanent weight loss coaching program to thrive. So don't let your negative voice cry foul on that. But if you are in the private Facebook page, I'll invite you to click on that link, have the courage to comment with your key takeaways, but also communicate your exercise intensity score and then your starting nutrition lock-in score. And I want you, this is a coaching move, so stay with me. I want you to not only write your score, but then either say that you are currently not committed, or you're currently committed, or you are currently fully committed. And then ideally say that you are from this point forward going to fully commit, so that next week when you retake your score, which I would invite you each week to retake that score as well and communicate that in your weekly email, and most importantly for yourself, know what's going on with your nutrition, what's going on with your exercise intensity, and what's going on with your scores in general. All right. I'm super excited about these 3 topics, ideally resonating with you. I'll look forward to seeing your comments on the Facebook page. Keep on rocking. Next week, I'll be back on a normal weekly team call versus the video, but I wanted to try this format out with you, especially because I'm about to head out on a 10-mile run, and with the goal of hitting 4 or 5 on my exercise intensity. All right, I'm proud of you. Keep rocking. 4 weeks left in 2019, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. All right, take care, guys.